Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. I want to talk with you about addressing gifted people's annoying characteristics. There are 5 strengths that other people can distort. Most people can, in one way or another, be annoying. They're too quiet or they're too noisy, too aggressive or too passive, too emotional or hyper-rational, and so on. Brainy people, the so-called gifted, bring their own set of annoyances, and here I describe 5 common ones, mainly in hopes that it might generate at least the level of acceptance that we tend to bestow on other people. Psychologist Kazimir Dabrowski identified 5 areas in which people, disproportionately the gifted, exhibit intense behaviors, what he calls overexcitabilities. Of course, that term implies that the person requires fixing, but unless extreme, the goal should be the aforementioned acceptance. The first kind of overexcitability is he calls it psychomotor. This refers to what we typically call a hyperactive person, adult or child, who talks, moves, even eats quickly. The key point here is to distinguish between the person with attention deficit disorder, that is ADD, and the person who is very active, yet still can focus well on tasks of interest. Of course, like all of us, they may not focus on schoolwork or that's too easy, boring, or irrelevant, or other work that's too easy, boring, or irrelevant. And such people are often put on Ritalin and related drugs to address inability to focus. So ask yourself, is this person able to focus on tasks of interest? If so, the answer may lie more in changing his or her environment than in medication. The second kind of so-called overexcitability is intellectual. That refers to the gifted person who tends to bore others with extended analyses of issues, probing questions, and fascination in describing all manner of things. Especially when combined with psychomotor overexcitability, that's the sort of person who makes other people think, if not demand, "Can't you calm down? You exhaust me." Parents, romantic partners, and friends of such a person might want to limit interactions with them to small doses and try to at least appreciate the richness that interactions with such a person brings. The third kind of overexcitability is emotional. Expressed emotionality is, of course, not just limited to the gifted. Genes, environment, and culture affect how much emotion we express, and it can manifest in a full range of people. But a subset of intellectually gifted people may be more prone to emotionality because they're more likely than other people are to see an event's myriad implications, whether it be personal implications such as if you're being damned with faint praise at a meeting, or societal, as in the public's losing trust in the media. We claim to celebrate diversity. That shouldn't end with melanin. We should be more inclusive regarding emotionality. The fourth type of hypersensitivity, if you will, or hyperintensity or overexcitability, depending whether you want to use Dabrowski's term or not, is imaginational. Many gifted people have the brain power to be remarkably imaginative, and they may find that dream world to be so compelling that they spend a lot of time in that world, in the world of the ideal, if not downright imaginary. Of course, at its extreme, there are people chasing too long-shot dreams, overly long-shot dreams, and end up failing miserably, the so-called Don Quixote syndrome. That's a common enough set of, way of being in the world among Jewish people that it spawned the Yiddish term, now in the English dictionary, Luftmensch, which literally means a man with his head in the clouds, but who never accomplishes anything real nor makes a living. But given most of our mundane lives, it's wise to not unnecessarily shoot down the dreamer, child or adult. Of course, that's harder if your spouse's dreaminess precludes their holding up his or her end of the contribution to family income. And the final type of overexcitability is sensual. That may be as common in the general population as in the gifted. It refers to people who have intense reactions to things that are sensory. In sight, it could be ecstasy in seeing natural and man-made beauty. In sound, it could be music, or on the negative side, hypersensitivity to a noisy room, for example, an open workspace or a home that's near a busy street. Regarding taste, such people might gravitate to careers such as chef, wine taster, or restaurant owner. But many people simply enjoy eating and or cooking to a greater extent than do the rest of us. It's tempting for us to think or even say, "Why do you care so much about food?" Well, it may be less of a choice than a predisposition. Regarding touch, of course, some people are more sexual than others. That too may be more dispositional than volitional. In ourselves, as well as in judging others, we might do well to honor such dispositions. For example, to be empathic with the person who gets upset at noise pollution and thus refuses to rent an otherwise perfect apartment. The takeaway? Of course, in the extremis, these deviations from average may well be served by feedback, suggestions, or professional counseling. But often, our tendency to devalue such people is an injustice to themselves and to ourselves. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.